Dear students, we are going to see few important structures related to the anterior triangle. For that, pictorial representation will just go on. First, we have to draw the mandible. Okay, so this is our mandible. This is our chin. The chin, here you will be having a fossa by the name Digastric Fossa, right? And the next one, here you will be having the one important process behind your ear, that is called, this is your ear. Okay, so behind the ear you will be having a process called as mastoid process, and then there is a groove in the mastoid process, keep it in mind. The next one here is the hyoid bone. So you have the greater horn and a lesser horn of hyoid bone. So we have drawn the hyoid bone. Next is the thyroid cartilage. So here we have drawn the thyroid cartilage. Okay, thyroid cartilage. Then down you will be having the sternum. So you will be having the manubrium sternum, and comes the body of the sternum. Now what happens? We have to connect few important muscles from here. So from the manubrium sternum to the sternocleidomastoid. Have you heard about this muscle? Sternocleidomastoid starts from the sternum to the mastoid process. So this is called a sternocleidomastoid, right? So this muscle is named as sternocleidomastoid 1. So this side also you will be having the sternocleidomastoid starts from the sternum to the mastoid process. So 1 over. Second one, the student should know, this is called digastric fossa. So there is a muscle by the name digastric. It has two bellies. One is called anterior belly of digastric, another one is called posterior belly of digastric. So the anterior belly of digastric starts from the digastric fossa, and the posterior belly of digastric starts from the notch. I said no, here like that, here also you will be having notch, so it starts from the notch. So this is called posterior belly. So these two bellies, they join in the midline through a intermediate tendon. So this is called anterior belly of digastric, and this is called posterior belly of digastric. Okay, so this is anterior belly and this is called posterior belly. They join in between through the intermediate tendon. Okay, next thing, between these two anterior bellies, so I have told you this is also anterior belly and this is also anterior belly. Between these two anterior bellies there is a nice muscle by the name mylohyoid. Mylohyoid is situated. So these are all new for you, so you will learn the terminologies. Mylohyoid is situated. So again I repeat, anterior belly and this is posterior belly, they both are joined in the midline via the intermediate tendon. So the origin of anterior belly is digastric fossa of the mandible, and the posterior belly is from the mastoid notch. Okay, and then they insert in the intermediate tendon. Finished. So this is about one. And the second is, in between the anterior bellies you will be having a muscle by the name mylohyoid. Okay, now third is from the sternum to the hyoid, straight. Okay, sternum to the hyoid bone, there is a muscle by the name sternohyoid. Okay, what is the name of the muscle? Sternohyoid. So posterior aspect of the sternum to the straight, it is going to the hyoid bone. So it is called a sternohyoid. Second muscle, if you cut this sternohyoid, you can see the underneath muscle by the name, we will put some other different color for that. This dark brown color we can use. So another one, okay, we'll use the orange color. Okay, this is also from the posterior aspect of the sternum and goes up to the oblique line of thyroid cartilage. This is one muscle. So from the thyroid cartilage to the hyoid bone, second muscle goes. So right, there are two muscles. One is sterno to thyroid, that is going to the oblique line of thyroid. There is a line by the name called oblique line of thyroid. So it is present here. So the muscle which lies beneath the sternohyoid is from the sternum to the oblique line, it is called sternothyroid. From the oblique line to the hyoid, it is called as thyrohyoid. Okay, these are the muscles. The next one, here mylohyoid is there. Next to the mylohyoid you have another one muscle by the name hyoglossus. Okay, so here you will be having the another one muscle will give strands, okay, like this. Okay, hyoglossus. Then if you come down, this is mylohyoid, this is hyoglossus. Hyoglossus is going towards the tongue. From the hyoid bone, it is going towards the tongue. As the student should know, from the hyoid to the tongue. Next, the student should know another one muscle, and it takes its origin from the hyoid bone and it goes to the pharynx. Is a muscle of pharynx called middle constrictor. What is the name? It is called as middle constrictor. So these three names you have to be familiar with. Number 1, mylohyoid. Number 2, nearby one is hyoglossus. Number 3, which is also related to the hyoid bone, is middle constrictor. So these three muscles are very important. So now you can see some triangular areas in between. So number 1, this is the midline of the neck. So we'll draw, this is called the midline of the neck. So we'll put dots along the midline of the neck, right? Okay, I have drawn the dots along the midline of the neck. So this is midline of the neck, and here you have the sternocleidomastoid. This is called base of the mandible. These three boundaries, they form the anterior triangle. So if they ask about what is anterior triangle, you should answer as the midline medially, midline of the neck, and then superiorly you have the base of the mandible, and laterally you will be having the sternocleidomastoid. This is about the anterior triangle. So what are the triangles are present inside the anterior triangle are, number 1, this is called submental triangle. So we can give some different colors for that. Okay, we can give some different colors. Number 1, this is called a submental triangle. Can you see this? This is called a submental triangle. And then number 2, this is called as digastric triangle because it is formed by the two bellies of digastric. So it is called as digastric triangle. Number 3, this is called, here I forgot to tell you one important muscle here which starts from the scapula. Here you will be having, this is clavicle, and behind that you will be having the scapula. From scapula you will be having a notch called suprascapular notch. From the suprascapular notch there is a tendon, muscle goes here, and here you will be having the intermediate tendon. This is called as inferior belly of homohyoid, and then from here another one muscle goes, that is called superior belly of homohyoid. What do you mean by the word homo? Homo means suprascapular notch, and it is going towards the hyoid. One belly is coming from the hyoid, so it is called superior belly is coming from here, inferior belly is coming from the suprascapular notch. Both of them, they join together in the midline by the intermediate tendon, as we saw in the digastric, okay, intermediate tendon. So this is called superior belly and this is called inferior belly, right? So that's all. So now our triangle limitation is this area. This is sternocleidomastoid. Just medial to the sternocleidomastoid is anterior triangle. Behind the sternocleidomastoid is posterior triangle. So we have limited our triangle here. Now the student should know this is the anterior triangle. So midline of the neck and then base of the mandible. Here sternocleidomastoid. Inside that you have lot of other triangles. That's what we were talking about. Number 1 is submental triangle. Number 2 is digastric triangle. Number 3 is this one. Here you will be having 3 important structures. One is the artery. That is our carotid artery. Second is our vein. That is our jugular vein. Third is our nerve, vagus nerve. So these 3 important structures are lying in that triangle. So this is called as carotid triangle. So this is called as carotid triangle. So because this important carotid arteries are lying here, that's why it is called as carotid triangle. Now this triangle is full of muscles. Can you see? I have already told you the names of the muscles. So this one is another one triangle. Here you can see all the muscles. So this triangle, we have to define this triangle. Look at this. This one is called as carotid triangle, right? So this one is called as carotid triangle. Last is this one. This is midline of the neck. Okay. This one is which belly? Posterior belly of digastric. And here this is superior belly of Mylohyoid. So here you have a triangle by the name Muscular Triangle. What is the name of this triangle? Muscular Triangle. So again I number it. Number 1, submental triangle. Why it is called submental? This is your mente or chin. So it is lying beneath that. That's why it is called submental triangle. Number 2 is the digastric triangle. Number 3 is the carotid triangle. Number 4 is the muscular triangle. So these are the 4 triangles which are all the components of the anterior triangle. So our thing is we have to find out a few important MCQs in this. So with this we will move on to the specimen properly, and then we'll see the structures in specimens. Okay. So this is about the digastric. Digastric, you should notice one important point. Is there any glands are related to that? Which salivary gland is related to that? And then carotid means which carotid artery is related to that. All this stuff you should know. And then near the carotid artery sheath, here you will be having a nice loop by the name ansa cervicalis. What is that? Ansa cervicalis, that is chain like loop. This loop only supplies all these muscles. Can you see? These muscles are like straps. Those they are called as strap muscles. Strap or ribbon muscles. These are called ribbon muscles or strap muscles. So if I ask a question, anterior belly of digastric and posterior belly of digastric, these form the boundaries of digastric triangle, and between the two anterior belly of digastric you have the submental triangle. So this entire thing is called submental triangle, and the floor of the submental triangle is formed by which muscle? This dotted muscle is mylohyoid. And then if I ask the next question as which forms the inferior antero-inferior boundary of carotid triangle. So carotid triangle, this is posterior boundary, this is anterior boundary. Antero-inferiorly you have the superior belly, posteriorly you will be having the sternocleidomastoid, and superiorly you will be having posterior belly of digastric. The same way, if I ask the muscular triangle, superiorly you will be having the superior belly of Mylohyoid, posteriorly you will be having the sternocleidomastoid, and then the medially you will be having the midline. What are the structures present inside the muscular triangle? Since it is called as muscular triangle, all the muscles, can you see the muscles? First is sternum to hyoid, that is called sternohyoid, and then sternum to thyroid, that is called sternothyroid, thyroid to hyoid, that is called thyroid. All these muscles are the contents of this triangle, and all the muscles they get its nerve supply from the ansa cervicalis, and except the thyroid which gets its nerve supply from the C1 fibers along the hypoglossy. Okay, so that and all we'll be reading later. So up to this you should know the triangle properly. Now we'll move on to the specimen. So this is our specimen related to that. Okay, number 1, you can see clearly this is the sternum, this is a hyoid bone. Okay, and then sternum to hyoid bone, number 15 is which muscle? Sternohyoid. And then laterally you can see the sternocleidomastoid going, and here you can see nicely this is the superior belly of Mylohyoid, and this is called inferior belly of Mylohyoid. The intermediate tendon is lying behind the sternocleidomastoid, and then this is superior belly, this is inferior belly. This is called midline of the neck. So superior belly, midline of the neck, and sternocleidomastoid. This triangle is completely filled with muscles. That's why it is called as muscular triangle, right? So sternohyoid. So you can see sternohyoid. Now we have cut open the sternohyoid. Inside that you can see the sternothyroid and thyroid. And then look at this. Okay, this is a very important one. We have cut open and you can see the 17 is sternothyroid. This is the thyroid cartilage. Thyroid to hyoid, that is called thyroid. And then here the nice one, next one, digastric. So you have the two bellies of digastric. This is called from the chin. Can you imagine the chin? The neck in the extended position. You can see the digastric fossa, and you can see the chin. From here it is going back. So this is called as anterior belly of digastric. This is called posterior belly of digastric. Anterior belly of digastric and posterior belly of digastric getting inserted into the intermediate tendon. So this is called as digastric triangle. This is the one. Full carotid arteries, internal jugular vein, everything is there. So definitely it must be the carotid triangle, right? So this is carotid triangle, and this is the nice view of the digastric triangle. Posterior belly of digastric, just beneath that you have another one muscle by the name stylohyoid. So you can see that also, and this is carotid triangle. So this is muscular triangle, this is carotid triangle. Over that you will be having the digastric triangle. In beyond that you will be having the submental triangle. So these are the four triangles.